Well, we start this hour with more signs that fierce Ukrainian resistance is turning Vladimir Putin's war into what one NATO official is calling a stalemate. This as the refugee crisis worsens, and Europe prepares to slap even more sanctions on Russia. On the ground, Ukraine's military claiming its troops have regained control of Makariv, and the Ukrainian flag is flying over that city after a Russian retreat. This video showing the damage Russian airstrikes have inflicted there. Now, that is not far from the capital, Kyiv. A Ukrainian cabinet minister telling CNN that Ukrainian forces will be taking more towns back over time. Well, a Ukrainian military official also dismissing a claim by Russia that a shopping mall attacked late Sunday housed weapons. Russia's defense ministry releasing this video of the attack, which killed at least 8 people. These images show some of the incredible destruction in Kyiv. Residential buildings and businesses repeatedly targeted. More explosions seen and heard there today. Well, Fred Pleitkin connecting us from Kyiv, where, as I understand it, air raid sirens, Fred, have been blaring within the past few hours.
You're absolutely right, Becky. They certainly have, and we've also heard a lot of shelling going on. We've also seen a lot of explosions on the horizon, black smoke coming up. In fact, as I'm looking out here, I can see the entire sky behind me sort of turned black because there was a big fire raging a couple of miles from where we are right now. We've also heard some gunfire, small arms fire close to where we are as well. In general, Becky, we can say that as we're under curfew right now here in the Ukrainian capital, it certainly has been an active day of fighting, and that fighting seems to be taking place, from everything that we can see, in the northern part of the city or towards the north of the city, possibly also the northwest. That's where we're seeing a lot of those plumes of smoke. That's where we're hearing and seeing also a lot of those detonations, those explosions coming in. The Ukrainians are saying that they've actually shot down one Russian missile that was flying towards the Ukrainian capital. They say that the remnants of that missile then fell into the Dnieper River, which of course is the mighty river that runs through the Ukrainian capital. But in general, you're absolutely right. The Ukrainians are saying that right now they have halted that Russian offensive. They've stopped the Russians from their efforts to encircle the city, and they say that they are launching those counter-offensives. And of course, the town of Makariv is one that's extremely important in all of this, because first of all, it halts the Russian advance around the city, but then second of all, it's a pretty important gateway town also towards the west of Ukraine as well. So very significant for the Ukrainians to have taken that place. We do hear that there are still some contested areas around there. On the whole, though, Becky, it does seem to us as though right now the Ukrainian forces feel emboldened, and that the Ukrainian forces certainly in the north of Kyiv, in the northern parts of the Ukrainian capital, appear to be launching counteroffensives and fighting back, Becky.
Right, that's on the ground. What is their defense to the increased use of aerial bombardment by the Russians at this point?
Well, you know what? That's a really difficult one. But one of the things that we do ascertain, that we have seen also here, is that the Russians by no means have air superiority, or what's called air superiority over this country. The Ukrainian Air Force continues to function. Ukrainian airfields continue to function. They say that their jets are flying. The big thing, of course, right now are those surface-to-air air defense systems. We did see those get triggered a couple of times over the past couple of days with cannon fire coming from the ground. But the thing that the Ukrainians say they still have, and we see them employ that as well, are those surface-to-air missiles called the S-300, which do go pretty high and can also intercept some of those rockets that are being shot at the Ukrainian capital as well. And, you know, we've had that and heard that discussion over the past couple of weeks since this war started, with the Ukrainians calling for a no-fly zone over this country, obviously something that Western nations, and especially the United States, would have to enforce. The U.S. saying that's not happening. But the thing they want, of course, is more of these S-300 surface-to-air missile systems to be able to shoot down things that come towards Kiev and other Ukrainian cities as well, Becky.